everyone, welcome to my first tech unboxing. Well, as tech as an old record player can be. These are back in fashion, aren't they? We had them when I was growing up, and now for some reason people want to listen to their records again. So I picked this up. I didn't need it, I didn't really want it, but when I turn it over and show you how much it was, you'll see why I couldn't pass it up. Yes, I got this for the bargain price for £20 at my local Asda store. Now I do actually have some old vinyl records, but of course, like most of us, they've been converted to cassette and then CD. What other new format are they going to be bringing out? Obviously now we have everything on our iPods and phones. So anyway, I couldn't resist it. It's a retro piece of technology. Right, first thing out of the box, we've got the mains adapter. It's also got a 2-pin plug on it as well. An adapter for that, or there's the regular 3-pin. A very small turntable mat that looks like smaller than a regular 7-inch single. And of course you got the instruction manual. This one's finished in a pastel blue colour, but you can get it in other colours. I've certainly seen it in an orange, but I didn't have any choice of colour. This was the only one they had left on the shelf, and I thought, well, for £20 it's worth a punt. These are still currently available online, but you'll expect to pay a bit more than 20, maybe up to £80. Right. I will be demonstrating it. I'll be putting a little record on and playing a few seconds of it. But of course it's very hard to judge the sound quality of anything when you're listening to it through YouTube. You'll just have to take my word for it. I'm not expecting high fidelity sound from this. But what I think this type of record player is ideal for is those people who might have quite a collection of old records in their spare room or their loft, and they fancy putting the needle onto the vinyl and reliving their lost youth. Well, there we go. Ooh, oh dear. I don't know what that was. A little bit of dust I thought that was in the box. I've tried to brush it off and it's made a mark on the rather lovely cream interior. I'm sure I'll be able to get it off later. So there we go, it's got the brand, Crosley. It's quite a nice sort of vinyl effect, leatherette type finish. Nice bit of metal detailing and a sturdy handle as well. This is designed if you're going to a party. You could take this with your bottle of Blue Nun, couldn't you, and a few of your records, take it to a party and dance the night away and be sick in the flower beds. 2 little speakers at the front. You've got 4 rubber feet so it won't slip about on your surface. Oh, and here's the connections at the back. So it's got an auxiliary in, so I'm assuming you could plug an iPod into this or a CD player if you wanted to and listen to it through the speakers. And you've got line out as well. Maybe you could connect this to a better amplifier. Not sure, I'd have to check. There's the DC in. It'll be made in China, I expect. Yes, made in China. And it's model CR8005ATU. Right, let's open it again. My dog is coming in for a sniff. Yes, Molly, it's not food. Some bits of glue there. It's not high fidelity by any stretch of the imagination, but as I said, people who like records will have all that gear. This is just for casual purchasers, I think. People who just want, as I said, to relive their youth, get their old vinyl out. Let's unwrap the turntable mat. Now, because this is quite small, when I put an LP on here, it's obviously going to stick out of the case. Assume it's that way up. This reminds me a little bit, when I was very, very young, my brothers were given a Dansette record player. Or is it that way? And I was allowed to play with it occasionally. if I was very careful. Oh look, it's even got one of these adapters. Remember those, folks? Those adapters. Some records for some reason didn't have had a big hole in the middle. I don't know why they did that. Why did they do that, folks? Comment below if you know why. But I remember buying the odd single and it had a huge hole and you had to have an adapter in the middle of it. Can't see why they did that, but that fits there. You've got obviously the arm and the stylus. Now it lifts up there. Speeds. Oh, has it got 3? It's very hard to see. Oops a daisy. Let's pop that back down. Lock it in place. It's very difficult to see, but it seems to have 3 speeds, including a speed for old 78. Very surprised it's got 3 speeds. So you've got the 78, 45 and 33. I think that means RPM from what I remember. And you've got an auto stop on or off. And this dial is for your power and your volume. And you've got a headphone socket. So you can listen to all your embarrassing records without anyone knowing what appalling taste you've got in music. Right, I'm just going to dig out one of my records and we'll see what this sounds like. As a child of the 80s, I was naturally into all the cool bands, but because if I play any of the cool stuff, I might be hit by a copyright strike, I'm going to play a segment of this Barbara Dickson album. And in fact, yes, I have to admit, I do like Barbara Dickson, and I still like her. I was never very hip and trendy at school. I was still liking ABBA before they were popular again. Anyway, this should be a fairly clean record. All I need to do now is to go on eBay and source myself a Ronco record vacuum to get the dust off. But I think I'll be alright with this. I normally keep my records very clean. So let's pop on Barbara Dickson, Sweet Oasis. Now, it's a long playing record, as they used to say, so I think it'll be, I think that's the right setting. Of course, as kids, we had fun playing records at the incorrect settings, didn't we? Right, let me move that up. I think there's a cover on the stylus. There we go. Excuse me if you can hear any screaming from outside. It's just the local urchins having fun in the sun when really they should be inside playing video games. I don't know. The youth of today. When I was young, I wasn't outside playing. Right, let's... Oh. Well, is it even coming out of 2 speakers? I don't know. Wow, now that is pretty bad. Know you're saying what's inside. If I did, you'd still say goodbye. Now, even listening through your phone, that's going to sound awful. And listening through my ears, it sounds pretty bad. Cut me down and watch me die. Why do you just come and go? Now, that's not the way Barbara Dickson should be heard, really. Oh dear, it is appalling. I'm glad I only spent £20 on this. I was once so much to you. Tell me what I should do. Now, that is bad. Now it might sound better through the headphones. I'll plug in some decent headphones and give you my opinion on that. But it might improve with a decent amp and some speakers, but then what's the point? This is a portable record player. If you're going to hook it up to an amplifier and decent speakers, you wouldn't be buying this. I do have a Marantz record player upstairs. I mean, it's not a top of the line thing, but it is connected to some Technics, a Technics amp, and they're either NAD or Wharfdale speakers, I can't remember, and it sounds a lot better than this Crosley Cruiser. I can't believe some people gave this good ratings. They obviously haven't heard a decent record player. Well, that is pretty bad. Well, I've plugged in an old pair of headphones, Sennheiser ones. They're fairly cheap, but I think there'll be an improvement on the built-in speakers. So I'll just give it a listen, see what I think. Oh dear. Oh dearie me. It's very, very echoey through the speakers, sorry, through the headphones. Almost as bad as through the little speakers. I'll try one last thing, and I'll plug in this speaker, Sony speaker I have, that's a Bluetooth speaker, but obviously this doesn't have Bluetooth, but I'll plug it in via the aux lead and see what that sounds like. Yeah. Well, I've plugged in a Sony speaker into the headphone socket, and before I even place the needle on the record, I'm not sure if you can hear that quite loud humming noise. So it doesn't bode well, does it? That's with the volume turned right down, so let's see what it sounds like when we put the needle on the record. Changed my life. Will you be my sweet oasis? Take the stranger overnight. Well, it's 100% better, obviously, than the speakers supplied, built in. So yes, it's a little less disappointing, but hi-fi it ain't. So for me and the lovely Miss Barbara Dixon, I bid you farewell. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.